it to be picked through. And the last match for GamerLegion was up against Falcons at IEM Melbourne 2025, and that was a 3-13 loss. So you understand why FURIA are picking into it. Let's see if GamerLegion bring a little bit of magic into this one.
Util into the outer yard. That's a deep Z smoke. Interesting. ZTR can play ahead of it if he would risk. Goes over it, actually, to set up his headshot angle, but yuurih's still going to win that duel despite the first bullet coming out from ZTR. yuurih has an idea of that boost up over the smoke, punishes the bottom of that totem pole. And this is looking very nice indeed for FURIA. Bomb ticking away. No real way back into the site. You got to go through a crossfire. Perez dismantles one end of it. They try and seize on. Time is whittling off the clock. There is that kit for 1000. He's got it. Towards heaven. Looking to get stuck onto that bomb, but the insurance policy from yuurih can't pull him off. One more shot. KSerado's done it. KSerado's done it. They don't have the health. They don't have the time. KSerado, cool as a cucumber. And it's a spa day for FURIA.
Wow, well done from KSerado. There was time, right? If they get that frag quickly enough onto KSerado at E-Box, then maybe they can grab the kit and go for the defusal once more, but just KSerado too good. Bought all the time, got all the frags, a 3 count the round. Credit to GamerLegion for working their way back into the site. It wasn't easy. It took a couple of big frags from Towson, and you know that player popped around from Olaf, might have been able to frag him, but at least Towson makes an argument of it. In the end, though, as mentioned, KSerado, the clutch. And I want to mention yuurih at the beginning, like predicting that boost over the smoke. That's become a common boost to try to attempt. And he just spams right through the smoke, gets an instant frag. Now it should be pretty smooth sailing for FURIA here in this second round. And to Eco, yuurih already gets 2.
They have the stack in the right place. Not necessarily going to help you. yuurih right now is just...
Yeah.
Smokes don't seem to matter for him. He knows where you want to play. Someone was reading the match prep notes. Looking at the heat maps. Mans is dialed in. Rez. Secret agent. Secret Agent Rez. Oh, they adjusted, so he can't get the assassination there. And Yeki with the Mackie. Well, Makey, it no problem.
Yeah, really never in doubt for FURIA here into this round. No investment pretty much at all for GamerLegion. It was just the USPs. They couldn't connect with much aside for the damage on yuurih, but he's took so many engagements, it's almost inevitable that you are going to take damage. Even if it's just pistols on the other side. And Molodoy, ooh, a little bit messy on the spray, but he does finish the job eventually onto Towson. And that will do it 2-0 in favor of FURIA. Talking a little bit more about yuurih and what he brings to this squad. And in particular, you know, on T side, he's great for those entries. And I'm surprised that yuurih's taking the opening fights in a lot of these instas, but eventually it will be yuurih because he takes them 31.9% of the time with a 47% success rate, which is pretty good considering how often he's going for those entry fights. And a 1.14 rating actually tied with Molodoy, but Molodoy is just on that op and finding openers in that fashion instead. All right, let's see how it goes here. Round number 3. yuurih again, first man out. Towson.
He's fast.
Incendiary, yeah.
Fast with it, not slowing down for anybody. See yuurih, who instead is exerting control in T-Con, right? So he's going to be holding on to that space. We've seen him towards Olaf before as well, trying to find the gaps to exploit to punish the outer yard. So if it's headed towards B, you'll see yuurih there. Bringing it A, you'll see Yeki as the tip of the spear. yuurih, edge of the smoke, finding the space. Molodoy down low, but PR from the back of the oil train. Can collect on one. This would have been a massive kill for KSerado, but he can't find the headshot. And the flank is on. I mean, the flank is on, but he's got no teammates left. It's a little bit too late on this. He's probably going to find ZTR. Okay. Makes his doubt for a moment. He's going to be able to get himself an upgrade. What kind of damage can he do with this Galil? Spots PR. For the angle. Damage matters, but he cannot find another kill.
Yeah, yuurih spotted the flank, got a little cheeky pulling out the knife, but by the time he has a chance to activate, well, his team is dead. So that was the end of the round, and GamerLegion do pick up a first. Again, this is just the bonus round coming through for FURIA. So you'd expect them to have still a decent investment into this next round. But yeah, only one frag for Yakindar, and then immediately traded out by PR. Here they come. Yep, here's that investment as mentioned. 3 AKs and 2 Galils. On the other side, GamerLegion, rifles for everyone. Rez has that AK to defend, and look at how fast. I mean, FURIA have been through these upper tunnels into the B site and Brown Hall so quickly every round, and it's going to be a brawl here for control, and Quesarado going to win that.
Spray down coming on. Moladoy now making a mess of the outer yard. Yakindar down, done, and dusted. They know they have a player painted in the corner, and Rez did not realize how close they had crept. So you got ZTR coming in T-Con. You got A-Core all the way on the wrong side of the map, starting to make his approach towards Pop. But the wrap from Quesarado, this is just going to be deadly. A few more bullets than necessary, because it is a Galil. But that coaxes A-Core out of the engagement.
Yeah, just well done in the opening moments from FURIA to gain that control in Brown Halls. Quesarado deserving most of the credit there, but he did have the support of his teammates to ensure that he'd be having the space to get those frags. And GamerLegion trying to fight inwards towards that A site as FURIA executing there and just can't hang on to it. So well done from FURIA. 3 players still alive. A-Core forced onto the save. Still at risk here if he takes a step too far, but he will not. And it should be fine to save that M4 into the next round. But that isolates the round victory for GamerLegion, Mike.
Okay.
Train has been a map that historically has lent itself to a CT-sided affair. And that hasn't really changed in the CS2 version. Maybe it's gotten a little more balanced with some of the changes towards Ivy.
Yeah, I mean, everything is T-sided in CS2,
yeah.
right?
Well, maybe. Depending on how you look at it. I don't know.
That's one of the rifles out of play. They kicked in the door. They're kicking in some more. Nothing to be done here. Quesarado is hungry. He's gnawing on the bones of these A defenders. Bomb will be stuck on down. Towson might be able to escape with save on ass, but that is best case scenario for him at this point. But you're right, John. This is where we expect a strong defense, and certainly GamerLegion's starting on the wrong foot.
No, for sure. I mean, they've typically been starting off on the wrong foot on this map, only with success against Complexity, surprisingly, on IEM Melbourne 2025. And then Falcons, it was a 13-7 win there. But outside of that, they've kind of been blown out 5-13 twice and then 3-13 previously. So we'll see if that changes here up against a FURIA squad that's already looking pretty lethal. And I mean, you know, you said it, Mike, sometimes things can be really T-sided in CS2. And in fact, if you look at FURIA stats on this map, they win 61.2% of their T rounds and 47.5% of their CT rounds. So they have a much better win percentage on their T side.
One thing I'll be curious to see if they break out. They had this very nice strat that they were running with the previous iteration of the lineup. You've seen a couple teams deploy it now. It's gotten popular where you throw a smoke walls out back towards Ivy. There's kind of a tunnel of smokes that lead in towards the site. And you have a player just walk through that tunnel so they wind up in a position they'd never be expected. I'll be curious to see if it gets deployed. Obviously, since it's been put on tape, it's a little bit less surprising. Been around for a few months now. It is a fun one. There's just a lot of creative ways you can access things, especially with how open the outer yard is now. Personally, I'd almost like it to be a little more claustrophobic again.
Yeah, perhaps so. I don't know. I like the change, honestly. It's a good change of pace compared to the old train.
I just like the old train. You can hide behind everything.
Yeah.
Fast playing towards B. They're keeping the pace up. It's going to be Quesarado who's tipping the spear here, going out towards the upper. Ooh, then Incendiary comes in just in a moment. A second later, and he would have been past it. So Towson, well timed. But A-Core's coming to try and support. And meanwhile, Towson knows he's in trouble. Spinning, pirouetting, falling, finds the shot. And just like that, they're locked on the wrong side of this util. Molotoy, that, I think, just tipped the scale.
Yeah.
Imagine they're going to try the save now.
Now, that was the key frag to find. As soon as he does, it's over. For GamerLegion, they've got to pull the plug. What an explosive take towards that B side. I mean, that's what this map gives you on T sides. The ability to explode out into both B or A very, very quickly and overload the CTs. And if you're not set up well in the defense, then you're in trouble. And GamerLegion got caught a little bit off guard there, and they had those two players in towards closer to Zcon rather than having them near Oil Train to that strong defensible position. Anyway,
it's very satisfying to me to see the scoreboard and see Caserado and yuurih just tearing it up, right?
Yeah.
FURIA, these guys have been on this team for
a long time.
28.
It's 2017 for yuurih and 2018 for Caserado.
Okay.
It's 8 years.
They've been teammates
almost.
for 7 years at this point.
Yes.
We've watched them come over to North America from Brazil, qualify through the leagues, playing Mountain Dew League for years, to make it up the ranks, to qualify into the Pro League, to find their spots, to find their events. The trophies have always been what eluded FURIA. But now, this Frankenstein form, going away from Brazil to find new reinforcements. They're looking more dangerous than they have in a very long time.
Yeah. Well, see if they're dangerous here. ZTR burns Caserado to an itty-bitty crisp there. The bullets helped out, but Yukindar gets the immediate response. He slipped into this A site, and that is a prong that can activate in such a significant way, right? Because there's so many players that are going to have to try and hunt him down. In the meantime, they're going to try into that B site, and Fallen has done the work to clear it out. Yes, Yukindar falls, but now you have a 2v2 with the bomb going down at B.
And they're very far away. They do have a kit, so that does extend the timeline of going for this retake just a little bit, and with the scoreline being what it is, they're going to attempt it, but I love this maneuver from Fallen. You'd like Fallen and yuurih to have swapped places just for the utility. Oh, footstep! ZTR hadn't even seen him. He panicked on the footstep. Oh, that might actually be a blunder. That might actually cost them the round, because now Fallen's
got the molly.
Choked out by the util. Molly is too late. Too little, too late, not on the right spot.
Oh, man.
Little jump scare.
Yeah,
Spooked.
for both players. And I mean, you're right, Mike. As soon as Fallen spotted out there, that's the end of the round, because all they know that, okay, Fallen's not on site. We just have to go for a 2v1 engagement up against this last player, and then we've got the site.
I'm actually curious to see that from, I think, the ZTR and Z's perspective.
Yeah.
I don't think he had vision on Fallen. I think it was just a panic step. If he'd kept his nerve. Well, we'll see if that winds up costing them. Follow Moloday deleted. It's funny, I see an op on FURIA and I still expect it to be in the hands of Fallen. It's another change that's taken some getting used to. But PR is trying to change their fortunes here on Train. He's doing a good job of it.
Yeah, Ivy's such a tough position to get in from now for the T side, and even when you do, you don't really gain that much control to the site because you can be seen straight from Bomb Train now. So yeah, that's a interesting approach from FURIA. It doesn't work out at all. 5v2 in favor of GamerLegion. You got Yukindar, you got yuurih left standing. At this point, 1:05 left on the clock. It may be 1:05 of saving, unless they find something, unless they're given something. Flash and nade. Little bit of util. Could try flashing out into the B site. Maybe you find one. A bomb plant out of this round.
They're gonna try it.
Yeah.
The rumble of the thunder here on Train. Such a dramatic scene for what is to come. It's all quiet on the triggers. Now that's that FURIA activation, but as they're spotted, they're backing away.
Yeah, it's just going to be safe.
At this point, it seems like you're right here, John. They're going to save these guns, take them through to the next. But it'll allow a comfortable drop, and you'd imagine GamerLegion don't have much of an appetite for this hunt. Cash-strapped as they are.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that works in that situation is you poke your head out towards the B site, you get a clean shot on someone that might not be expecting it, and then you can charge in and try to plant that bomb. If that doesn't materialize, then you're done. You could have thrown a flashbang into the mix there and tried for that, but the util's important to carry over as well, and I guess they didn't really want to sacrifice it. So there you go. Third round found for GamerLegion off of some very quick fragging in the first 20 seconds of the round. And after that point, FURIA don't really have an appetite for anything more. So now they're going to go back to that play that they've been employing quite a bit. It's just quick execution in towards those upper tunnels over at the B site. And looking for quick fights. Towson's been there with the util every single time, and he will be in the same place again, throwing that smoke out, Mike, as yuurih takes up his position in Brown Halls.
What a world of difference having the nades makes, right? Just in terms of how much early space FURIA are able to take. They can't go for the same boisterous plays. Throw out a smoke on the sidewalk just to intimate they might be headed B, and it has kept the third player here because they're headed pop. So it seems. Deep smoke dump that might hold the bomb at bay. But KSerado's looking for a little bit of vision here on towards the site.
Well, I mean, they need something, and ZTR's hovering around red train right now. He'll back off a little bit. He's in hell now.
Here's the smokes.
Yeah.
Here they move. Rez gets vision right before that smoke blooms. The tracers, though, betray him. An advantage for the moment. ZTR here in hell. You mentioned him before, and he goes unexpected, though the trade is instant. A flank is developing. Towson might have the angle here. When did they snap around? When did they realize that this is a possibility? Not in time. Leaves it all to Molodoi. Knows where both players are. But knowing and doing anything about it, those are different questions. Braves the flames, but wrapping around E-Box, Towson anticipates him going for the bold play.
That is such a great play from PR, right? Doesn't overextend himself. He knows that Towson's coming in on the flank, so he's just trying to get in and attract attention enough in order to allow Towson to gain even more space. And not only does he attract attention, he gets a frag for himself, and then Towson's like, okay, freebie. Nothing doing it all there, and Molodoi's left in a 1v2. What can he possibly do? The answer is nada. Fourth round on the board for GamerLegion, who have come alive here on Train.
Deagle Tech 9 with the limited weaponry. Let's see if FURIA go back to those explosive plays. We talked about in the last round, there'll be a lot more to deal with to muddy up those choke points.
Like that T-Con is just a mess of utility, right? Once it's out on both sides. Yeah. Such a risk to go in there. And Yukindar's finding out why.
Smoke pop, nade drop. They know where each other are, but it's a question of battleship. Can you find the destroyer? And so far right now, they're sinking the fleet on the FURIA side, but yuurih is out of play. Shots downfield. A-Core survives. Critical one, and PR on the line will not be losing that duel. Not today. Fallen. Make it a little bit expensive, but we're coming to the end of the half, so GamerLegion, they got some cash to burn.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter for them at all. They've got plenty of money to work with. And now they've tied up the scoreline at 5-5. I mean, already 5 rounds T-side is pretty good for FURIA. Very workable if they switch over to CT side, and that's all they get. But they've still got at least one more crack in the next round. Not this one, but you never know what can happen with those Tech 9s. All right, GamerLegion deploying the AUG, which Rez likes to do.
Swapping into the Deagle, investing a little bit more here for KSerado. They've got a lot of nades, a lot of Molotovs as well. Players starting to mass towards inner. Yeah, I'd imagine this would be what we see. There's a smoke to eliminate ZTR's vision, but he pops that, gets some confirmed. Players are here. That can trigger the rotation. Surprised nobody's moving this quickly, but they're anticipating that FURIA might choose to go back pop. And FURIA don't seem like they've made up their minds. That's a mortar strike.
does damage to 2 players at least. You see FURIA slowly maneuvering their way back towards that A site. 3 players in Pop Dog, but 3 on the other side for GamerLegion setting up what could be a very lethal crossfire. Mike, Molotov and Flashbang sail in. Here comes FURIA trying to overload. They get 1, but Acor's good for the trade. Can PR help out? No is the answer, but Acor's standing on his head. ZTR comes to support, and it's now a 3v2 in favor of GL.
Acor's gonna have more tests, but he's gonna have more chances. Fallen somehow alive, but tagged up. I'm gonna set up the molly. It needs to be Molodoy now. He is the only one remaining. And he's been found without a kill. Towson not missing. Lethal here. They make some noise. They apply some pressure, but GamerLegion withstand.
I mean, this is what GamerLegion been doing in every single series, right? They find their way back into it, and then they manage a way to wrestle control from their opposing team. And this time it's FURIA. They were strong out of the gate, but it's Acor who's activating at a critical time with the AWP with a couple of frags that come through. If he doesn't get that, then FURIA is able to overload onto that A site and get the bomb planted. But because he does, the reinforcements can come through. ZTR is able to support after lose a couple of bodies on A, and now Acor going to be tested immediately again. Oh, looks like they only got the damage, then fell back, but over towards that B site is where the hit's actually coming through. Queserado over onto PR. Rez wants to peek out here, but he's probably dead. No, what a peek from Rez. He gets yuurih.
Plucked from Molodoy. Rapid fire on the off. Now bomb ticking away. And Towson and Acor on the wrong side of these choke points. Acor will be able to pick his engagements here. Back from spawn, but they know where Towson is. And he knows he's well and truly stuck. Acor has to create some space, and now he's been spotted. Still that scope at range. It can be lethal as Molodoy tries to demonstrate. It's all on to Acor. The man on a mission to prove he still can hang. We'll have to wait through the halftime break. back for the second half of play. Despite some frustrations there for GamerLegion, it ultimately comes down to a 6-all half. Anyone's game as we swap sides.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's a great recovery from GamerLegion after what was a very torrid start coming through from the FURIA side. But now we swap, and GamerLegion, of course, lost that last round, so they couldn't get that 7-5 lead in their CT side. We'll see if that ends up being a difference maker. But considering how strong FURIA have been on T side up against their opponents, those 6 rounds for GamerLegion are looking pretty nice, especially if they get a pistol round victory here. Yukindar's very aggressively postured up in those upper tunnels towards the B side. Fallen, and T-Con gets deleted by Rez, and now they have a path forward onto this A side even more so. Do they expect Molotov in the smoke is the question. PR's looking for it. Yes, they do. PR insta headshot, 5v2.
Expected or not, they certainly do find him. Yuurih can try. But at this point, it doesn't seem like they're interested. Backing away to save these 2 sets of armor to give themselves something to fight with in the next. That was just a full sweep off of A. The flood of GamerLegion came on through, and FURIA were left with barely a towel. I don't know what a wet panther smells like.
Wet panther. Probably not great.
Smells like Paul Rudd.
Why Paul Rudd?
Huge kill, I said. Huge kill.
60% of the time.
Ah, right. Okay. Well, speaking of working, that pistol round strat was fantastic for GamerLegion. And they get those first 2 openers, and then after that, you know, just overload onto the site, forces FURIA into a save, and that's a fantastic start for them as they now take the lead. And speaking of fantastic starts, if they manage to close out Train here, Mike, do GamerLegion, they've already got a win under their belts against FURIA and Mirage previously, and FURIA is not great on that map, only 3 wins over the last 3 months, so there's very much an argument in favor of GamerLegion if they can come through and steal Train away from FURIA.
Tag up to Yukinda. But a ZTR to collect the first. Fallen trying to walk through the smoke, get a little bit of information, but he was just the vanguard. He was the first element of the approach. Problem is, with 7 health, Yukinda is not anticipating that he would like that engagement. So they come in towards B, which it seems like they're setting up to do. Rocket down the sidewalk. It's just 1 defender with 7 health.
Yeah, trying to get ready to toss that util. Obviously a significant util advantage here in favor of GamerLegion with FURIA on the force buy. And there goes that flash to open up some space. Molotov as well for oil.
They're never going for this. This is a full gamble. They were saying, all right, if it comes A, we can do something. Otherwise, we're saving.
And that is exactly what's going to happen. So they're going to roll the dice again in the follow-up round with the 5.7, MP9, and Scout. But great work again from GamerLegion going in towards those upper tunnels at the B site. They find 2 immediately. And, well, like you said, Mike, after that point, it's a gamble stacked towards A, and it doesn't pan out for FURIA.
You take your risk, you live with the results. FURIA will live with a 2-round lead being established for GamerLegion. Gamers are feeling pretty good about this.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, we certainly did see the hot start on T side for FURIA get quieted down. So, the question will be once the guns come out what this looks like.
Terrorists win. Keep it going, guys. Let's go. Can you do something?
Ash trying to hype them up today.
Yeah.
We saw last night a lot more sitting down. He's walking. He's pacing. Trying to keep them pumped up. Trying to keep spirits high.
By the way, this is the first time that any team has gotten 8 rounds against FURIA over the last 5 matches they've played.
On Train.
So, on Train, yes. That's what I meant. On Train.
Not talking Vitality era dominance.
No, not yet. Maybe not ever.
But on
but
Train, though.
yes. It's
a great start. But But I'd imagine they'd like to be the first team to get 13.
Absolutely. Already making inroads in that direction, right? I mean, it is still the save guns that come through, and I think there's one more upgrade that FURIA went for, but again, the util limitations are going to be a determining factor on this round. As there's a deep smoke in for Ivy. I like that smoke from GamerLegion. Comes all the way from T-spawn. Forces at least a check from yuurih saying, wait, what's going on? Why is this here? At least an opening trade there for GamerLegion after losing one. Still even numbers at a 4v4, and here come FURIA towards the A site. They're gambling once more. That'll come in this direction. They still have one player towards B. That's Caserado in the upper tunnels. Rez going to throw that Molotov onto A, and this is where the execute's coming. It has to be.
Oh, looking for the tag. Look at the damage that's been done. These USPs, they can strike, and they do. It's the scout instead to pluck one away, but Fallen serving as an able distraction. That sets up another, and it all falls to one man, and he's already tagged, and he'll quickly be fragged.
I mean, talked about it already. I mean, they had 3 players, did FURIA, waiting there on the A site, gambled that that's where GamerLegion would go towards, and they absolutely did. They walked into a blender of scouts and MP9s and could not get past it. Huge 7th round for FURIA to pick up. And that's when you want to see GamerLegion walking away with, if you're a fan of them or if you're them, because it's just that type of round where FURIA doesn't necessarily have the equipment, and you do.
It's the easy opportunity, and if you can't do it the easy way, well, we just saw for Liquid. It's going to get very hard.
Oh, yeah.
And when the heat goes, life gets rather difficult. Now there's an op-out. It's not just the scout for Molodoi. Now everyone's got a rifle. There's plenty of util. Close up, though. Fallen wants to get into the blender. Damage done. Certainly a lot of information gained. No, only with the one. Caserado on the line, trying to enforce the jumping over him. The hop, skipping, and jumping. Kind of a face-on in from Rez. Finds the business end of that particular rifle. ZTR, he'll take the one. But Incendiary off the angle. He is 2 to square off at, and the bomb is in their control. It's in their grip.
He's got a lot of time here, Mike, so he doesn't have to rush into anything. A full minute available to him, and he tries to fake a rotation back through Ivy, but no one's really buying that. The bomb?
Or armor.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Neither of those things, both of which are quite helpful. So as soon as a bullet meets body for ZTR, his spray is going to be everywhere. And right now, Caserado, rapping. Just missing the timing.
He can get the bomb back.
Around. But he's chasing him on the flank. ZTR, if he could grab the C4, maybe he could slip out towards B, but he's trying to figure out where they've gotten to. And as he backs back in, there is no way. Caserado tracking him every step.
That's unbelievable. I mean, obviously you have to clear your corners in that situation. You expect someone to be covering the bomb, and FURIA uses that to their advantage. Caserado creeping around, then the instant quick scope comes through, and he's gone. Yep. So, GamerLegion, after getting off to a quick start here on their T side, FURIA responds. They shut down GamerLegion's force buy, and now you're on to an eco with FURIA having the chance of taking that lead back.
Glocks. That's all they got. Just Glock. CTR will try and rally the troops, but right now they might be hollow words falling on deaf ears because they know what they've done. They know what they've invited in. They know they've missed the easy chance. And from here on out in train, things are going to be very difficult indeed to regain. So this round, probably nothing doing. Okay, Acor, what's this lineup? The Glock? Yeah, I don't know about that. Anyone else a little bit better bullet penetration? Maybe with a Deagle.
Interesting idea. at least. But execution lacking.
I mean, look, it's a low percentage round, so take your chances.
Yeah, of course.
Where is the chicken? Where is Henrietta?
Gotta get that reward money.
Gotta. Yuurih might be about to find some friends. There's Henrietta. There's a spray down. Money made. Not quite. Hold on. Bomb plant on deck. That would be a miracle. And it's not going to happen. Miracles? Not something to believe in. PR tries. He can find no further footing against Quesarado.
Well, at least a couple of frags to speak of on that entry. And like you said, there was the opportunity at a plant, but it's just shut down. I love that Quesarado reads it. He's like, wait, what's going on there? You're trying for a wall bang? No. I got you. Kindar finding a couple there. And like I mentioned, the response comes through for GamerLegion, but they just can't plant that bomb. So no additional $600 afforded to them, which would have really helped the utility situation. Now you see as they're missing 6 pieces of util because that bomb plant doesn't come through. We'll see what a difference that can make. And of course, into T-Con, you'd expect Rez has a little more trouble getting out here, but he doesn't, and PR's found the opening frag.
Two players in the smoke. PR's trying to find space through. Might get both. No, Quesarado wise to it, but as the smoke fades, Rez is there to collect. And now, advantage on for GamerLegion. Fallen has his work cut out for him, and that flashbang is lethal. Yuurih can take one more, but now his position is compromised. Does he want to stick around and risk going through this? Does he want to try a different angle of approach? Bomb's going to be down. There's a player on the line. That's A-Core. And Yuurih has stuck to his guns, but now he backs off.
Yeah, he figures his position isn't great, honestly, in that situation, and I can't really blame him. He will be backing off of that and saving the armor, the kit, the util, a grenade, still something, and of course the gun. Into that next round, great work from GamerLegion. I want to highlight Rez in particular, right? Because he goes through and finds a gap after that utility is tossed in T-Con and just walks right out into Red Train. No one really expects him to be there. There's no one hanging around all off either, so he has that space to work with, so it leads to that first frag for himself after a little bit of chaos happened between PR and the rest of that FURIA squad at Ivy. So that's what really gives him the advantage. Then he throws a perfect flashbang to isolate Fallen. Fallen had absolutely no chance in that engagement, so Rez, great job throughout the entirety of the round to help secure a 9th for GamerLegion.
Some frustration there. A little self-high five coming through from Towson. You can always be your own best teammate. We said GamerLegion knew they'd have to do it the hard way. Well, this time they accomplish it. Into the jaws of FURIA and able to break some teeth. So timeout taken. Discussion to be had. Ash getting in the notebook there. Wonder if we get a YouTube video on this. How we beat FURIA and snap their train speed. From Ash.
Certainly very much in this one. Anyone's game at this point, and Rez is already out of T-Con again. They gotta stop him here. Now Towson getting that frag makes Rez's position even more potent. A lot of attention attracted towards Towson, lets Rez to go into the back lines, finds Quesarado trying to set up util. Oh, but Rez whiffs on the spray. Now they know he's here, but Towson's doing the work, Mike. He gets 2 more off of a great flashbang, and Quesarado's only good for 1. GamerLegion dominating this round.
Should give himself another high five after that one.
Yeah.
He's earned it. A little celebration from me to me, perhaps. Very strong indeed. Molotoi will at least find the first hunter here, as he knows he has become prized prey with his AWP in hand. A-Core on the angle. Molotoi leaking into it means A-Core has all the time in the world. Little update on the A stream. Unfortunately, the return of Simple has come to a pause as FaZe have been eliminated 2-1. Heroic winning that third map in overtime. They will move on. FaZe are out of IEM Dallas.
Wow. That's it was close at least into that overtime. I think a lot of people were rooting for Simple to go through, right?
But Heroic
have to wait a little bit longer.
Here to show that hard work defeats former GOAT status. A-Core swinging out into Molodoy, but the trade is there. Molodoy going wide on the second angle, wanted to reset, and PR was there for the punish. It's just USPs. Fallen's picked up the op, thinking, hello, old friend. I will bring you through into the next round.
Yep. Grabs that off the ground and absolutely wants nothing more to do with this one. Or does he?
No, he just wants an exit.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, yeah, so that's going to make it 11-9 in favor of GamerLegion. And also Mike Aurora get that rematch with Heroic. So that's going to be interesting to see how it goes.
Spicy.
And if jet lag was a factor, yeah.
Look, how do you told us? He felt dead during that game. Well, now he's back in the land of the living. We'll see if xFloud can repel his countrymen once more. Had a very good series against FaZe, so... That one's set to be, I believe, the final game here on the B stream, so you'll want to watch all the way through. We bring the drama all the way on this final day. As a reminder, it is elimination and qualification at stake today. Set the scene. Loser of this is, of course, out, but the winner will have to match up against the victor of G2 3D Max.
Both G2 and 3D Max have been having their struggles lately. Big roster changes for G2. Both their big pieces gone. Trying to find their identity once more as a result. And 3D Max look a little lost in the last two series they've played. So whoever wins this one will have a good chance at making it through.
You know, with the elimination of FaZe, Mobs is our last hope to have NA representation at a North American land.
Yes, it is.
As much as I like to joke and claim Caserado and Yuurih at times for how much time they spent here, that is the last NA player in IEM Dallas, is our Guatemalan king, Mario Malms Samoya.
Rez off positioning, by the way, getting that op frag. Very nicely done onto Caserado. 5v4 just like that, and Towson could have the edge on Yukindar if Yukindar takes a step out of Long Dog. He's waiting for it. Doesn't want to commit too early. There's still a lot of time left on the clock here for GamerLegion to work with.
Rez has been bogged down. Send up some util to try and pop on through, but this crossfire could be deadly. Ruiz could be tremendous. You can tell GamerLegion are aware of the threat. But it's a tough one to dismantle. Where's your first point of contact? It's going to be this pop dog player. And both dealt with. The 1-2, you know what that setup is. As soon as you find the first, you know what to expect on the second. GamerLegion deal with the problem nimbly. Now they have the choice of sites. Wherever you want to go, John, they've got some free real estate.
Yeah, just fantastic spacing on those trades as well. GamerLegion were perfectly set up to ensure that they'd have the advantage one way or another, as now they choose to go into towards that A site. Only one player here. In fact, each FURIA member isolated on their respective bomb sites. Fallen, realizing the situation, may just fade off into the distance, Mike.
They're running out of chances to go for these fadeaways, though. It's map point on for GamerLegion. FURIA, they started off strong here on this half, but it's been a streak of rounds back the other way. Now 4 in a row for GamerLegion. And FURIA, they're not going to have much. The loss bonus is mounted, yes, but these saved rifles are going to be critical to be able to mount a defense here. They will be limited. The changeup in the veto was designed to catch GamerLegion off guard. The result may not be working out for FURIA this time.
I mean, to their credit, GamerLegion haven't been that great on train as of late, but you know what? They've managed to pull it through. They've had something going for them here at IEM Dallas, and it continues to happen here on this map up against FURIA. And you see Towson has been that something in a lot of cases, in particular in the first series they played up against 3D Max, and now here against FURIA, sitting at a total of 18 frags at the top of the scoreboard for his squad. 12-9, Mike. 3 more rounds required, or excuse me, 1 more of the next 3 rounds required for GamerLegion to move on with a map edge.
In some ways, you do wonder if the adjustments they've had to make for A-Core, simplifying some of the playbook, has almost made things a little bit easier for the rest of the team.
Right.
Giving them less to consider in every round, to focus more on the crosshairs. Certainly, it's been looking great for Towson. See if he can win this fight. Caserado on the other side. Just on top of the E-box. Can't quite get the angle. That's a position revealed. He'll have to back away.
Yeah, this is not the greatest of buy-ups here for FURIA. Util's already kind of depleted because you have to use so much into T-Con just to keep that under control.
Look at the risk. Look at what's on B. Just one man.
This is tons of pressure and only an MP9.
MP9, 1 incendiary. But now he's got reinforcements coming in. They've realized the timing. They got this information out. Ivy, they've gone for the push with Fallen. So now Molodoy on the angle. yuurih close up. Oh, unscopes instead of shooting.
Didn't shoot.
Misclick, mechanical error. He'll get it on the repeat, but he needs so much more, and Towson will not be allowing that. Clean headshots on for his 19th kill of the map, and that might be all he needs.
Oh my goodness. I'm not sure if it just didn't come through on the Go TV or if it was just the fact that he didn't actually shoot. I think it was a misclick. I think you're right, Mike. That just is so unfortunate there for Molodoy, and it could cost them the map. He had the kill. He had it. Just had to click left mouse button, and that would have been it. But now A-Core is going to do what he couldn't with the AWP, and ZTR finds Fallen, Mike, 13-9 in favor of GamerLegion. They steal away FURIA's map pick.
Snatched. So a little bit limp in the final round. Some mistakes made, but they did give them a fight. GamerLegion, though, up to the test. They did it the hard way. Had to crack back through.
As much as we were expecting him to on train. And come alive here and give them something. But it's a bit dire for FURIA because I think their win condition was obviously winning train and then likely a map number 3 just because of how GamerLegion seems to have their number here on this map.
We'll have to find out. We're diving in. We're fast into the fray here on Mirage. No reason to waste time. We are a go. 3 sets of dualies. That was a lot of dualies. Some utility here for Caserado and Fallen. Where do all these dualies go? Triplies, I guess this would be. 5 players, 8 pistols. Let's see if they can get it done. yuurih strikes first and second, and well, why not? Give him a third. Molodoy chimes in for his own, but it falls to ZTR, who has not been able to steer his team past this onslaught of small arms munition. Popping up the ladder, though. Gives themselves a little bit of hope before Caserado snuffs that.
Yeah, really nice pistol round coming through there from FURIA, and look, it's yuurih. He had a great pistol round as well at the beginning of train, and he kind of continues that early hot start that he had on the previous map, and shutting down GamerLegion as they were trying to get in from a ramp. Now, there will be a buy-up on the FURIA side, obviously, since they just won that round. Be 3 MP9s and 2 M4s in the mix, but GamerLegion do not opt for the force buy because they didn't get that bomb plan, so just the upgraded Deagle for ZTR, and he connects on the leg of Molodoy. It's only going to be for a little bit of damage, though, as FURIA are hunting for information early down mid.
Molodoy, make some money. Oh, you love that if you're an opper. Yum, 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 yum. Give me the pistol kills. Give me these MP9 kills. Oh, cash for me? Why, you shouldn't have.
Yeah, I can't be disappointed with that. A-Core, last one standing, not for long, though. Fallen is chasing him down, and A-Core at a massive disadvantage up against an MP9 with only the Glock. He even gets flashed out, but they don't push off of it. They're waiting for A-Core to make the move. There he goes, and there he falls. It will be the second round easily for FURIA. Now, off of that save, the guns will come out on the GamerLegion side.
Many bullets. That seems to be the strategy so far. We had a million dualies in the pistol round. We had MP9 kills coming through from FURIA. More bullets, no problem. P90s and Negevs next on deck. Who's going to break out the M249? We'll find out.
Missed window smoke again.
That's not ideal.
That's the second time in 2 series that GamerLegion missed that smoke.
Last time, they almost made it look like it was intentional. Let's see if they could do so again. Fallen's dead. This time, they're not doing anything in towards mid, so it was definitely an accident. Spray on the angles. ETR, though, that's a huge risk. And K-Serrato shows why. Eventually, he's going to try and make his slip on out, but in the meantime, he's just continuing to send damage down range. And the more they try and spam him, the more K-Serrato just finds the punish. Molodoi back in. Rice has opened up the A site. Does he know that yuurih's here? Had the idea. But flying through the air, yuurih was patient in picking his moment to pop up, but that means that Acor now has his work cut out for him. Trying to just get a little bit of vision here for the plant, giving himself a tunnel of smokes to try and isolate out this fight because the reinforcements are on. A flashbang for the pop. But as we've seen before, yuurih is all too content to patiently wait. K-Serrato and yuurih approaching this fight. Acor with the first, but does he realize how close K-Serrato has gotten? Bullets through the boxes. Acor whittled down further. K-Serrato in the open. A huge chance for Acor. Plucking the first would be magnificent, but it's not to be. K-Serrato keeps that score sheet clean, 5-0.
Yeah, and a 4K from K-Serrato. Talked about how he likes playing on Mirage, and man, oh man, what a round for him to come alive in. Third on the board, and it was a great effort at the end of it there by Acor. He does get the first one. Works the smokes well, but afterwards just too many angles to watch, and he couldn't flick fast enough to find the frag onto K-Serrato, who was actually low at 27 HP, so would have only taken 1 bullet, but couldn't even fire that off. And, you know, a little bit of frustration, of course, on the GamerLegion side. But FURIA off to a very nice start, and they've got some AKs to celebrate with as well. A couple of those picked up off the ground from that previous round. GamerLegion invest a little bit into this one, an AK and a scout, along with pistol upgrades, but not much body armor nor utility available to them. And Yukindar is going to get this spray down through the smoke, and then a smoke pop to help K-Serrato collect the second. Wow, this is all FURIA.
Blistering in the pace, right?
Yeah.
You like to see it. It's just confidence. Yes, maybe it's not against the most ferocious of eyes, but you just like to see it be confident.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, well, look, I think for FURIA, it's about seeing it past round number 5, which we didn't really get on train. Once round number 6 hit, then that's the GamerLegion were starting to get into it. I think even round number 5, like I was saying, and after that point, it really wasn't much to say for FURIA in their favor. So let's see here. They're going to call a timeout of GamerLegion, realizing the situation, saying, look, guys, don't worry about it. Last time, they had this lead too. We erased it, and we came back to win on their map pick. So cooler heads need to prevail here for GamerLegion. On the FURIA side, though, they've got to be feeling good. See if they can carry it forward.
Just waiting for the ice pack meta, John. When you need cooler heads, just puts an ice pack in their headset.
Well, we got the nose strips, so why not the ice packs?
True. I've seen players put hand warmers in their headsets before, but that was in a freezing warehouse land. Shoutouts Freezadelphia one time. Nades in, pepper up Yekindar. No problems just yet. And they're gonna get aggressive up mid. This is that space taking. Molodoi's tagged up, but he wants to dive back in. ZTR has punished that top mid presence. Molodoi pressing forward is wild here to have this confidence. Now, they kind of need it. Which actually, if he carries through, I mean, the C4 is here top. The timing on this could get real weird. He hears the footsteps. He hears the footsteps on CTR. This is truly a wild play. I don't think he's going to be able to catch it, as they are full sprinting. They know they have A-site control. And with Fallen lost, there should be no threat to stop them from planting. So at this point, this is likely just turning into a save.
Yep. A little bit of aggression gets immediately punished by GamerLegion over towards top mid, and they find the player connector as well, which opens up all that space into A. Molodoy, yeah, there's the exit frag onto ZTR. But he's going to fall back afterwards because he knows his position's exposed and doesn't have much health. That op must be carried forward for FURIA. Well, I don't want to say must, but it's important for it to be carried forward to keep their economy healthy. This GamerLegion do indeed crack through with that first round in a pretty convincing fashion.
Terrorists win.
Hi, Vincent. Going in?
Nice bit of slow-mo. All slow-mo shots just look normal, unless they're flicks. But it's nice to see. So GamerLegion on the board. And this is what you talked about, John. It was once the economy stabilized, it was once the other side got their feet under them, that's where FURIA started to struggle. We should have a missed window smoke tracker that we can keep on for GamerLegion here.
Yeah, unbelievable. They got to get that under control.
This one top mid this time, so it's all good.
That one
lands.
Good. There you go.
All good. Brownie points for A-Core. He can throw his smokes. Speaking of throwing smokes, yuurih trying to stall this out, but painted into a corner. He stuck around, and that's exactly what they were hoping for. Pressure applied to A, and this one's done. This one is over. It's a save call immediately for FURIA. They got to wave the white flag.
Yeah, nothing done at all in that round. The flashbangs, the smokes all come in perfect sequence, and the timing on the push. GamerLegion get 2 frags, don't take pretty much any damage aside from PR, but I mean, no one falls. Caserado fallen, and Molodoy have to watch this round play out from that B site. You see a little bit of a hunt from GamerLegion, a tentative one, because they want to stabilize their economy as well, but they know how punishing this could be in the long run for FURIA if they can take the guns out of their hands. ZTR peeking around the corner. No one's coming up, but that Molotov's going to make life difficult for Fallen. He has to come around here, and great job by ZTR. Then Townsend. Oh, what a tap on the Molodoy. Okay, now it's just case around, and the op has been lost for FURIA. That's the punish that GamerLegion were hoping for.
Say if the heat's too hot, you better get out of the kitchen. And FURIA heard that advice a little bit too late, so now they're in big trouble. This early lead imperiled.
Wow.
And a GamerLegion squad that is starting to really find their footing. The confidence is flowing. They're heating up into it. Always nice when ZTR's having a little bit of a pop-off. It's early. It's very early. But you like when an AGL actually gets to click his own mouse.
No, Mike, I already mentioned before, right? 19 frags for him yesterday against Vitality.
Stood up and above. Fallen and Caserado holding the line here. They've lost their teammate. Fallen will burn.
Jesus.
No mercy allowed on that pillar, but a walk through the smoke. That is punished. yuurih was waiting for it. Rez was just hoping that he would have over-rotated in towards B. So that hope goes unanswered. And now yuurih getting very aggressive on the reposition. I like the idea. Take the control in towards ramp. If they had rotated through spawn, he'd be able to massively punish it. Even with this approach mid, you're going to have Caserado with a chance to impact. And actually, they're going up the catwalk. So they're thinking that yuurih might have called the rotate. And instead, Caserado's in the perfect spot, but he can't get the kill. A little jiggle from ZTR offsets the aim, and now we got 44 seconds. We still very much got around on our hands. There's no choke point util. There's no A-core anymore either, so it has to be the clutch. ZTR needs to anticipate this fight with yuurih, or as he goes to plant, it might just be lights out. Just trying to figure out where yuurih's gotten to. Feels that he's going to have some presence here on A. He's chosen the right spot. Bomb down. Reads it as Palace, but Palace isn't out, so now he knows. He's got at least a pretty damn good idea. yuurih will know he hasn't gotten off of the site proper.
That's a good spot.
Eventually, you'd imagine he zeroes in here on the firebox. There's no molly to clear him out. A smoke for that bomb, and yuurih doesn't realize, but Molodoi is there to cover.
That's a fantastic shot from Molodoi. Under pressure there to get the trade immediately and does not miss the opportunity. Diffuser should come through as well. Yeah, absolutely. Plenty of time for that. 5-2 in favor of FURIA. And the thing is, for GamerLegion, they made the right choice, right? They go into mid, which actually splits the difference a little bit between both of the players that were pushing up. You saw yuurih going all the way down into ramp, and then the player coming into ladder room, which ends up dropping. So that's the gap, the opening for GamerLegion to really get into the round. But a great catch onto A core by FURIA puts it in the clutch situation for ZTR. And while he gets close, that's not enough to get that third round on the board. So FURIA do manage to squeak it by. The problem for them is, well, their economy is really starting to get drained here. So if they keep having these extended engagements round after round, it's going to get difficult to maintain this momentum.
Rez is being wrapped upon. Look at this. Rez is on the underpass, but Fallen. Yeah, eventually gets that kill. Either way, he snatches it away with the MP9 and is out of there. It's a smash and grab. But Towson has found some purchase, and he manages to snap around on the Caserado playing Ninja. Towson low, but PR trying to come and reinforce, but this is all a distraction. It will be heard. It will be heard by Molodoi. He knows they're coming his way. He's got the op trained, and ZTR locked out. That's not where that nade was supposed to go. Would have actually probably been a meaty one, but as it is, it's a warning system for A-Core that, hey, they're ready for you. 30 seconds. How do you reroute if you're GamerLegion here? Trying to rocket up in towards mid, link up with A-Core, bring it on towards Zay.
You got to go fast. 22 seconds.
Yeah, and they've still got that op threat from Molodoi peering out at any moment. You know they're paranoid. Gekindar on the line ends any hope they had. PR knows there's no time. There's no chance. He's just trying to slip away with that AK, and they will give chase. It's FURIA to find the 6th, and PR can just tuck and hide.
Yeah, has to be careful not to die after time here, so he definitely needs to stay tucked. No reason to peek at all, especially with a player around that corner. But that is, again, phenomenal from FURIA. Fallen getting aggressive, catches off Rez, so that takes one prong out of the setup that they were trying to employ. And Molodoi hears the footsteps, gets one, and after that, just time was such an issue right now at that point for GamerLegion. They had 22 seconds left. When the pressure's on, you go a little bit faster than you usually would. You don't have the chance to clear those corners, and they walk right into Yakindar's crosshairs, and that was it. So FURIA, not only do they get the round victory, they get to keep a healthier economy out of it with a few guns brought over, and that's looking pretty strong for them now in this first half of Mirage.
Something that Ash is definitely not like, and you could see from the conversation they were having. Second timeout taken here as they look to correct before this half gets completely away from them. Double up. Where is Fallen going to deploy the second? Looks like in towards apps. It's funny, in the old FURIA, this is something that Cello liked to do without great success. But you give Fallen that scope, it's a little bit of a different story.
Yeah, this is a pretty potent double op, right? You got two primary operas, essentially. Like you were saying, Mike. ZTR. Gonna re-smoke connector. That opens up some space here at mid for GamerLegion. The main prong is going towards A, but Molodoi catches off Towson before he gets a chance to activate. And A-Core eats a nade, goes down to 52.
Ouch. He's hoping to peek back in. It's gonna come through. What a shot for Rez!
Yeah.
Caserado looked like he had him dead to rights. But a quick response on PR trying to slip out the palace. And forces a reroute. They got the right idea. Great flashbang. Great flashbang. Nice call. Coming through. Molodoi still a problem, but up on high, it's yuurih instead, who will prove to be the real thorn in their paw.
Yeah, honestly, nice job there by FURIA again. The double op setup really ringing true. Fallen supporting as his teammates are going down. The trades were excellent. That's a crazy shot for Rez to hit in that situation, but immediately afterwards, that happens. And then they go back and forth, back and forth. Beautiful flashbang from Acor. I highlighted that before. He's very good with the util, but unfortunately, they needed to be better with the rifles, and FURIA capitalized for a 7th round on the board. GamerLegion need to get something going here on Mirage. Otherwise, we'll be headed to map number 3. Molodoi gets that trade immediately, but Rez is good to give his team the advantage this time. 4v3.
Missed window smoke. Missed window smoke. Add one to the counter.
It's just... you
Add
have
one to the
that
counter.
unlocked.
Well, this one might not cost them. yuurih eventually is pinched upon. And Acor finding space. Fallen didn't hear him. Didn't process that he'd gotten through, so Acor gets the upgrade he so craves. And it all falls to Molodoi, whose scope is looking at the wrong spot.
Terrorists win.
All right, well, miss window smoke doesn't matter there, of course, Mike, but it's something that you must have on lockdown in Mirage. You can't be missing them. Yes, once in a while. It's not the easiest of smokes to throw, I understand it, but still, this is a third, fourth time that we're seeing it from GamerLegion. At least they can celebrate a round victory.
I'll tell you,
Fairly
you could
clean otherwise. Yeah.
Get put in detention at Ash's Counter-Strike Academy.
Yeah.
Missed too many window smokes, man. Someone's asking for a write-up. USPs. And one Molodoi. Hero op locked in. Let's see. Can he deliver? Lone man towards B. All the USPs A.
Don't necessarily mind it, right? Because if a player tries to get into those apartments, Molodoi catches them off, then you have an opening frag. And then you can call for the reinforcements to cycle through and maybe pick up the gun. But still, it's... a lot of things have to go right, let's say, for FURIA to take this round. Now Molodoi backing off, holding mid. There is a player walking to his crosshair, Mike. CTR, around the corner. Oh!
Nice headshot through from CTR, so that one big threat in the round is gone. That op annihilated. Now you're not going to be able to get your hands on this. Oh, you want this? You wanted this gun? Oh, yeah? Huh? No op for you.
Yeah, they're probably going to come hunting for it. You see it.
He threw it distinctly out of the map.
Yeah, not going to be there at all. Well done. Little details being taken care of by the IGL here for GamerLegion.
Details add up, just like window smokes. Can't let it go. I can't let it go, John.
I mean, I don't blame you. It's not great.
All right, we're letting it go until they miss another one. There's only one more round. Gun? No.
No gun.
This ATV will rot your brain. Especially when there's a bunch of AKs behind it. That's a lot of bullets.
It is.
I mean, it doesn't matter, right? There's no reason for FURIA not to go for that. There was plenty of money. It's not like you're giving them an extra nade or anything over on the GamerLegion side. And you're not saving anything through. So, it's the right call, even if it's not working out. So, this final round coming through from FURIA. Smiles, meanwhile, cracking in. Rez and PR, little chuckles going on here. It's a good sign for the GamerLegion.
Absolutely. I mean, they have to be feeling good about the fact that they're able to come back into this one, get a couple of rounds in a row, maybe make it 7-5, which would be fantastic considering it was 7-2. And you go on to your CT side feeling a lot better with your chances of coming through and making this a 2-0.
You know, I think if your IGL does all the fragging work himself, he gets a portion of everyone else's contract for the day. Which doesn't make sense. Molodoi back on that op, peering in. Taos and will be silenced here. And they're backing away. They don't want anything to do with that. That op, ferocious. The apartments are closed for renovations.
Yeah, they're just going to circumvent it at this point. Cycle all the way back into mid. A-Core with his op, hoping that someone decides to venture out into that window. Ikindar is avoiding it for the time being. There's the smoke for Khan, which may bait out a peek from Ikindar, but he's still going to be very cautious about this approach. And yeah, he's just hanging around jungle and window. He knows that if he goes down, then jungle's really exposed.
It is still...
Look at this space.
The opt up site, they might be anticipating the rotate. They might also just be liking their chances on B.
Nice shot.
Quick spot through the crack in towards Van, but Molodoi can stack them up. Nearly looking like a collat here. Sees the shadow on the one. Knows he's in an uncomfortable spot. Needs reinforcements, but those are coming. Ikindar coming in to reinforce. Player empty. Dancing with death. And Molodoi trying to find the right step here. A duel between the operas. A-Core can't get away. It's all on PR. And PR running out of time, running out of chances. 3 targets to find. He's silenced. FURIA are fighting on Mirage. One more half might be all that stand between FURIA and elimination here, but they are making a damn good go of it here on Mirage. An 8-4 lead, and they might just be chugging us through to the full 3-map series.
Yeah, much better performance on their CT side than they've had in the past on this map, usually only winning 46.6% of their CT rounds, but far above that by securing 8 in that first half. And, well, I mean, things get better at least for GamerLegion. Statistically, they win 50.8% of their CT rounds versus 47 and 48% of their T rounds, so we'll see if that holds true. Unfortunately for them, they're going to need more than that. They want to find success here, Mike, and we're underway. Lots of bullets being fired here towards mid. Rez gets the opener, though. He's trying to fade away, and ZTR supports him, but Rez will fall.
They still don't know about Acor here, under the bilk. And Towson continuing to get kills means they may never find out. Wow. This is a guy who was a little quiet in that first half, a little absent. He's been a monster for them here in Dallas. And if Towson finds his fury, might just be enough. Bomb is down. They're just waiting for the crossfire to activate. PR, a little bit of a harassment, a little bit of a distraction, but it doesn't even really need to be the key piece. They know. It's all about this C4.
Yeah, you don't have to move. There you go. I mean, just wait for a case route. An Acor who wasn't spotted, who we thought it was the snake in the grass, ends up getting that last frag afterwards, and his positioning in the opening duels don't matter because Towson is just that good. 5th round found for GamerLegion. That's exactly what they were hoping for. Now they can try and pile together a couple more rounds, make it a 1-round lead instead of a 4-round lead, of course, that FURIA started out with. That could change their fortunes here on Mirage. FURIA, no bomb plant, no buy-up. Incendiary sails through into the apartments. 1 player anchoring down this site. That's ZTR.
Damn.
They could overload him.
Eyes on Molodoy with this deagle. Smoke makes this a little bit easier. You do have the potential for PR to swing back in, but if ZTR dies, there's no util. This could get pretty risky very quick. Rez has the retake util, but he'd have to get back up on the cat. Maybe he could flash his teammate around on the cat. Yeah. I think that ZTR backing away from this is probably a good idea. Just going to jump spot, try and get the information. Does have to worry about a little bit of a deagle peek. But taking some creative angles to this information jumping.
Ooh.
There's the spot. It was the tag, but only for 9. Now ZTR can feast on these unarmored pistols. PR down for the count, but that deagle can't find home. The Glock instead will light the way. This is a bomb plant. This is a bomb plant, John. That's already a coup in this round.
Bomb has been planted.
Caserado snatches away a rifle. And that deagle, it might not be in the hands of Molodoy, but it's still ringing out. Towson and Rez, their positions revealed. These players still don't have armor, though. So they could just make contact with bullets. That could be enough. Incendiary to force one wide.
No kit.
And now damage on. No kit, absolutely. It's a dance with the clock for yuurih. But as he swings back in, Rez has just enough time to keep this one in hand.
Wow, that's absolutely crazy. As this one's going to come right down to the wire. There you go. Not so much. But either way, it is going to be Rez securing it. That was very scary for GamerLegion because you lose that round and then probably the map is going to go FURIA's way. Just the momentum swings so heavily off of a full-on eco. And that was the risk, right? ZTR by his lonesome. He does get the support, but what a shot from Yukindar. Not only that one, but the follow-up as well. It leaves Rez in a very difficult spot, but he manages to pull it off right at the very end. And defusal secured. So GamerLegion can be happy with that. The problem is what they can't be happy with is that wasn't the buy-up for FURIA. Now FURIA's got the AKs across the board. In your economy, yes, you're able to get the 4 rifles, but you have to settle for the MP9 on Towson, and utility may not have been as good as you like. Although they did use a lot of pieces already. They're going aggressive here. What a flashbang thrown by PR, and he gets the frag as well onto yuurih.
Feels like this has been the tournament of the comeback stories for individual players.
Yeah.
Yukindar doing another one. Taking out Acor, the comeback story on the other side. Simple out of the event at this point. But there are a lot of players looking for their redemption here in Dallas. Caserado is just looking for a quick kill. Doesn't need no redemption. His stars never faltered.
Oh, Rez. A little bit of a risky jump there. Yep.
This might be going supernova. And it's KSerrato to do it fittingly. Towson is on the wrong side of the map, and he's looking to find some sort of a gun. Bomb down. Round locked in for FURIA. And no op for you. Scope back out, but there's too many bullets coming his way. A swing in. They are hunting. They are hungry. And eventually their jaw will find purchase.
And this is where all that damage that was done in the previous round really comes through to hurt GamerLegion, right? Because you're looking at their bank accounts, it's so bad. And even after that opener, Yukindar immediately trades it back, and KSerrato, who has been pretty solid throughout the entirety of Mirage, activates for a couple more. Goodness me. Now GamerLegion on what is a force buy. I guess you have no choice because it's a double eco situation. The money is just so bad that they decide to take the risk. MP9, 257s, the P250, and the Deagle for A-Core. Up against a full buy for FURIA that's carried over from that previous round. This is going to be tough for GamerLegion. Definitely we're hoping for 3 rounds to be strung together after the pistol round victory, but FURIA looking to restore that 4-round lead they came into the half with.
A lot of bodies here for GamerLegion. 4 players on the A site, and on comes the approach. Utility at the wrong moment, though, for Rez. Somehow he slips away. Molotov puts down his teammate. Uh-oh. What happened there? This is getting very messy indeed. But they've seen their way through.
Yeah, that was chaos.
I'd like to see a replay of what the heck just happened there for Molotov. If we can make that. Putting in my request.
I'm assuming someone just walked in front of his crosser and the timing was crazy just because of how much chaos was going down.
Yeah, they were stacked up on top of each other.
Exactly.
A little bit of a car crash, shall we say.
I mean, the fact that FURIA come out with 3 players, that is actually kind of crazy considering they walked into the pistol stack.
Fallen just moved that gun out of the way. Always aware of the details. That's the professor for you. Okay, CTR gets a kill, but he will not be able to save what he's got.
Can they get the op back? Oh.
Should we have the replay? Hold on, hold on. No, we can't see it from Molotov's perspective, but we can see the bomb fly forward. So it seems like it was pretty much what you suspected there, John.
Yeah, just walked into his crosser. What can you do? It happens sometimes in those chaotic moments. But now GamerLegion off the force buy, back to an eco. 4 USPs at Deagle, and the rounds are really starting to pile up here for FURIA. Could be 11 unless something special happens here for GamerLegion. But given the way this is already trending, I don't know. Going into the A site, yes, you have a couple of players here. Where's that Deagle for PR? Okay, it's in CT. Maybe he can activate for 1.
Walk through. USP finds 1. Things could get interesting here. Fallen. A little stutter there in his brain, perhaps. It's getting very scary indeed. But now they're starting to stack up the kills. Now it's just these 2 players in con. Yes, they can maybe get some upgrades. But this bomb can be planted. There's nothing they can do about it. They don't have the utility to get back in the retake. They don't have the armor. Might just be worth saving this AK, bringing it out, because GamerLegion are running out of rounds to contest.
Now they might want to go for it, though.
Hold on. Hang on. So you tell me there's a chance. You do have to stick it.
Use. Yeah. I mean, I still understand it. I still understand, you know, given how much time was left in the bomb still, even if it's a 10-second defuse, you have to go for it in that 2v2 because you find that frag. That was the whole plan anyway. Once Acor throws the AK over to Rez. And look, nice headshot. Try to go for something, make it happen. It doesn't. No AK saved over, but you were on the eco anyway. So you're going to have a buy-up. Sure, the AK would have been better, but you need rounds, and taking that risk is very calculated. It just doesn't pan out for GamerLegion. So we go on. Round number 18. FURIA 2 rounds away from pushing us to Anubis.
Blinder of a shot from Fallen. He is traded, but he's done his work. He's created this space. And now, numbers down. Money limited. They want a battle. They are loath to give this up. But GamerLegion, they are taking such a risk here. They're in such a tough spot. Shots on the Tetris. But snow line clears. Needs to sail over. Goodbye, PR.
Sorry, I said Anubis Mike. I meant Nuke. But it's going to be a 3v2 in favor of FURIA. ZTR and Rez. Still alive here. No bomb plant. Means they still have a chance, and they got this crossfire set up technically with ZTR from jungle and Rez at CT, although the smoke is up right now. ZTR is going to activate. He's going to come around the corner, hoping to find something, but he is the one who's found. Molodoy with the AK. Rez, not much chance left, and yep, immediately traded. FURIA do find that 12th.
Map point blocked in. Nuke on deck. Just a few more rounds to find. A trade of the map picks seems nigh inevitable now. This GamerLegion have been unable to sustain here on Mirage, and 6 rounds in a row required for OT. Just doesn't feel like it's in the realm of possibility.
Yeah, this is because of that tough start, right? On the GamerLegion side, they really could never recover. There was a moment where it felt like it, where they get that 5th round at the end of that first half, and maybe we have a discussion of the possibility of getting into something. They don't. Then they get pistols. They're like, okay, maybe they get the follow-up too, and things will start to look better. They don't do that either. They only get up to 6, and since that point, FURIA has just continued to win rounds, although a lot of them have been tightly contested. GamerLegion just can't push it across the finish line and convert another round victory, which means, as you alluded to, Mike, 6 rounds in a row required just for overtime. And with this type of buy-up, it's not looking great.
Talked about in the pregame, Molodoy could be the key to lighting the way here on Mirage. He certainly has been. He has been lethal, aggressive, in your face. A picture of what you want in a FURIA AWPer. Really is funny that they had to go halfway around the world to find the guy who feels like such a perfect fit for what FURIA want to do. Send up the util here. Here comes the exec. They've chosen the light site, John. It's perfect timing. They've got the space. PR could drop that bomb. That bomb went a little bit far forward. Fallen taking some risks here, but the smoke is going to make good on it. Bomb can cross over. It'll be planted on down, but ZTR on the fast flank. Nade back into his face. A little messy on the util, and Quesarado, maybe as a result, will hold on to the space. Now Cat's locked down. It's up to Rez, wounded, and Acor with a scout to try and bring this round and keep this map alive. Acor, what can you possibly do? An impossible scenario. He's staring through that scope, and he's staring at a lost Mirage.
Wow. I mean, look, FURIA, we discounted them almost entirely here on Mirage because of how things have gone for them lately on the map. But man, what a recovery for them. Not only, you know, in that first half to get 8 rounds, but then here at the beginning of the second half, they lose the pistol, the follow-up round as well, and they strike back immediately.
About some of the tricks that were deployed against them, how to solve them. They're going to have pondered that, you know. Ash and ZTR are going to cook some things up. It's a question for FURIA is how much can you change with the playbook? How much can you shift things around when you are still a very fresh roster? A lot of changes across the pool. Seems like we are going to get a heavy upper play. There are 3 players on site. One more close at hand. There's a lot of crosshairs ready to receive this. First one goes the way of FURIA. And they're looking for a whole lot more. It's a total shutdown. ZTR, can you find a bit of magic? Had a monstrous Mirage. This one might prove too much to ask. Hoping for some isolated fights. Can't find the headshot. And eventually we'll have to peek on out straight into destruction.
Yep, just a solid hold coming through from FURIA. Shots connecting, and on the other side, there wasn't really much that GamerLegion could do. That Molotov burning away, and actually a disadvantage for GamerLegion more than it was for FURIA. And you see yuurih hitting the shots, Serato as well. And that will wrap up a nice pistol round defense for the FURIA squad. Exactly the start they were hoping for to this map, and GamerLegion, no bomb plant again out of a pistol round means pistols only. The aggression here from FURIA.
Molotov with a nice catch. They love a little bit of aggression, right? I mean, that's just going to be FURIA. And if you talk about, yes, you changed up the identity of this team in terms of going for non-Brazilians, but you went and found 2 non-Brazilians who really do have the spirit of FURIA close to their hearts.
True.
Molotov and yuurih are not going to be slowing down your aggression statistics. Not at all. It is so interesting to think about the ecosystems that's forced them to make these moves.
Yep.
In terms of just, normally you would expect that. I mean, FURIA have been sort of the top dogs, or the top cats, I suppose, in the Brazilian scene for a long time here, right? And generally speaking, through a scene, you expect talent to trickle upwards as buyouts happen and players make moves towards more auspicious positions. But because of how cemented contracts are in the Brazilian scene, you just don't have a lot of opportunity for matriculation.
Yeah.
So they've looked far afield, and that's got them a clean anti-eco here.
But it's just too expensive. It's as simple as that. I mean, they had to go somewhere else, and I agree with you. I definitely, Molotov and yuurih have the spirit of FURIA's style of play within their blood. And definitely yuurih, he loves to take aggressive fights. He's had some struggles, I would say, obviously with Liquid, but starting to come out of that here on FURIA. Had some moments on Mirage that were noteworthy. As we go into the first buyout for GamerLegion, AKs across the board, smoke pop here for Serato, looking around, breaking it even more with his bullets, and not catching any damage here, Mike.
Nice overwhelm, brilliant flashbang, but a smoke pop from Serato does get him a window. Molotov.
Wow.
Snappy shot peering on in towards the site, raining down nades as well. And now it falls to just the one. It was looking so good for a moment for GamerLegion. It was false hope. A bit of a mirage and nades chasing Rez, whittling him down, leaving him a ripe target for one Molotov.
I mean, I talked about how important opping is here on Nuke, and Molotov, well, he's proving why that is the case. What a snappy shot coming from heaven, and then he rains down the utility afterwards to support his riflers. You can't ask for more of an opper on the A site than that, and he even finishes it off with the final frag after he gets aggressive out of heaven, realizing there's only that one lonely res remaining. 3-0 for FURIA. For another hot start here on this map, and it's already been delivered. Is that a Colat for 2 leg shots there? I'm not sure what happened there, how that damage came on Pierre on Towson, but it doesn't really matter. As it stands, FURIA will have the HP edge.
That's spam. They don't want to go towards that. They want to get out. So instead they can head in towards a ramp that has 2 players set up. You have to deal with the scope. Molotov first. And then, well, pretty comfy spray down here for yuurih. is the final casualty, but fallen to make sure that they gain no purchase towards the lower site.
I mean, this is so clean from FURIA. They're not allowing GamerLegion to get any type of rhythm or momentum here in this match. A complete shutdown. Even though it was upgraded pistols, you thought something might materialize, but the setup was absolutely perfect coming through. And when Molotov continues hitting shots like that, I mean, your riflers can feel a lot more comfortable going for those extended engagements. All right, GamerLegion, here come the guns again. Wall of smokes will be tossed forward, you'd imagine. There it is, deep wall of smokes between Mini and Garage. Acor, boost it up, wants to find a shot. Already talked about the impact he can have here for this squad. Smoke pump actually favors GamerLegion. That was FURIA trying to get the visibility. Acor, opening frag.
Thousand down low, meets Queserado. Doesn't emerge from that unscathed, Queserado, but now with Molotov plucking ZTR outside. This is starting to get very dire indeed. PR needed to make a move, and he did so. There's no one else to attack this A site, so the bomb will get planted.
yuurih.
3-on-3 in the post. yuurih taking away lobby control. But he's expecting a potential late lurk. Based on how much they saw outside, he's wary that another player could be on, so yuurih will show patience here. Molotov will slow down what FURIA were hoping to do, and with Rez on the angle now, that makes up the minds for the remaining FURIA players.
Yeah, once you lose yuurih in that position, you don't really have any forward spacing onto the A site, and the op's already out of position, so you got to just go for the save, and that's the call that Queserado and Molotov are going to make. A little bit chaotic in the opening moments for GamerLegion, but that swing, you talked about it, from PR onto the A site, and then the subsequent frag allows them to gain the space they need to get the bomb planted, and of course, after that, one more frag onto yuurih while he tried to poke his nose in from Mini. So overall, I mean, it starts with Acor, starts really well. It's just that FURIA have been so very involved and strong on the trades that it doesn't really get under control until that PR frag.
Good face. Nice tag. Ericky, though, on the edge of this smoke. Do they anticipate him being this deep? They're looking for it. Acor boosted up. Reveals him. Could have been a very dangerous position, but left himself a touch exposed. And so a 5v4 here for GamerLegion as they look to find their second round and make that just a little bit better. Follow him on some info. And information comes at a high price. Molotov could be a problem. Acor on the other side. How far does Molotov creep? Right into the angle. And Acor's patience is rewarded. FURIA's urge to fight forward, onward, onward, onward. Well, this time, it's cost.
Yeah, Acor, like you mentioned, patient for both of those frags that come through. And starting to collect frags with the op is always important for him and his side. That said, Queserado does activate towards outside to at least get one. I doubt they're going to go back into this, though. There were still 5 players standing before that came through. So yeah, they're just trying to keep these guns alive, maybe catch some exits and make this expensive for GamerLegion, but this one is over.
Why was that image somber? I found that weirdly emotionally affecting. Thank you, 3D Cams Ops. Need to consider that. Need to contemplate what I've just witnessed.
Terrorists win.
A meditation on life and death, John, in the outer yard of Nuke.
Makes a man think.
Always got to keep those gears turning. FURIA looking for solutions here. The outer aggression was punished last time. The aggression pretty much everywhere was punished.
Yeah. And I mean, I doubt FURIA are going to shy away from that aggression just because it happened in that round, right?
Yeah, aggression was punished. What's a solution? More aggression?
Exactly.
Have we considered doubling down?
I mean, you see a lot of teams that want to take that aggressive yard control. I think we said aggressive so much at this point, it's losing its meaning, but they go out towards
Active,
yard.
we'll call it active.
Yeah, very active, our FURIA towards yard, and it works out pretty well if it's not expected, but eventually, if the team catches on, you're in trouble. And yeah.
Sit back on their haunches a bit, and now we get the pass through the smokes, fast as you like, for Towson. Bomb still needs to cross. We saw that ridiculous clip from Zaibu yesterday, but this time it seems like just a tag. That was GamerLegion who were punished. This time they have a little bit more success with that strategy. Okay, Serrata doesn't know Towson so far forward. Uh-oh.
Bye-bye,
oh, no. Knife? No knife. Won't take it that far forward. But that's
on
the round.
Yeah. I mean, they still got 4 alive, and you might be saying, well, no, that's not the round over. Yeah, it is. They're way out of position. They got so much space to retake, and the pressure's being applied from yard onto Yakindar. Yakindar survives, but now he's down to 1 HP. They still haven't managed to make their way towards that B site, and I don't think they have any appetite for it at all. It will be a third from GamerLegion, all off of only 1 frag towards Caserado.
Yeah, you got to sustain the economy here. So tuck and cover. Get very far away indeed. Survival is the name of the game.
Terrorists win.
Yeah, this is all about that, right? Towson gets past the angle. Caserado has absolutely no idea, and after that point, you know, they just flood right into the B site, and there's no one ready to respond quickly enough after Towson calls in for the troops. 3rd round in a row for GamerLegion.
Frustration for Molodoy.
Yeah.
Well, nade chip damage early on here, but nothing conclusive. Setting up a util for what could be a fast upper bust. Molotov for the hut here. Throw the util for it. Did they go behind it? Seems likely. Counter nades on. Second salvo potentially available. Here come the flashes. Here comes the motion. Falling behind the tower. Towson knows that spot, knows that angle. Can be traded out with the HE, and now Caserado strikes from Mini, and it is all over. These Guardians of the site, the full house. Yakindar is having a phenomenal showing here on Nuke.
Yeah, Yakindar from above and Caserado from below. There were no safe havens for GamerLegion as they went in towards this site. Yakindar, as you mentioned, started to show flashes on Mirage, but Nuke is proving to be where he is going to dominate, at least on that scoreboard. 10th frag pulled off, and that secures a 5th for FURIA and prevents GamerLegion from tying things up. There's still enough money for GamerLegion. Are they going to go right back into this? Rez already leaning in towards Hut. They got the lobby control again. Maybe they want to try and reset, go for another execute towards the A site. You do see Towson lurking around outside. Flashbang thrown for him to potentially gain some space because they know the aggression could be there.
Burst on through. Caserado overwhelmed. Towson found the routing through that smoke, and now we can see this from FURIA. This is reminiscent of previous rounds where they lose one man and suddenly the defense just doesn't make sense. They got no second approach. Very tentative about how they want to approach this.
Bomb has been
Or the more utility sailing on in, it really does feel like this one's over. It's first contact in so many of these rounds. Do you win that first fight? Or are we tucking tail?
That's crazy.
Playing the margins, playing the percentages.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense, especially on Nuke. You know, you need to have that CT economy kept healthy, but at the same time, like only one frag and they're out of there. And it was that K-Serrato frag again. Last time he was on the B side for K-Serrato. This time he's over in mini. And like you said, really good routing from Towson to catch K-Serrato off guard and really not give him much time to react. And wicked shot as well. And after that, yep, that's the round. FURIA decide to go for the save, and the fourth round eventually goes GamerLegion's way. So that's already a pretty decent T side for them.
It is. It is. It's going back to that upper fast play that we saw them execute before. Raiders success this time. Nice opener for sure. It's a tough fight to take, to be quite frank, but Towson can find those door kicker kills again. Be a big piece of this GamerLegion map. City having his piece. It's a new situation to navigate for him as well. You know, we talk a lot about it for the players, but City is the coach, having to adapt what he's doing, having to adapt the character, the messaging that he's giving, having to deal with, you know, disparate cultures as a coach, meshing those. When you haven't had experience working with the international teams before,
It's not easy.
certainly isn't. Poses some new challenges. Towson has gained perches in towards Secret. It's going to be Molodor who comes to meet him. Up on the angle, and we know Molodor. He might just press forward. Towson's giving his way. The swing, the jiggle, patience shown. And that forward vanguard. It's going to get checked. Brez spotted. yuurih doesn't pull the trigger, so he hasn't revealed his presence just yet, but he can't win the fight. ZTR lost elsewhere. It means advantage still on for FURIA, but the lower side compromised. And Rez trying to chew up this space. It's just a fake, though. It's just a fake. His players are trying to go out and towards A. And Rez withdraws, pulls back up. Falling back to the side. Better get that magazine in. PR goes down.
Oh, Shadow.
He knows he's got him. Just a matter of when the head turns. Ooh, he's being led around by his nose right now. Here's all of this noise, and now he knows. They've just moved up. Heard that player shifting up the vent. He knows he's got this lockdown. Molodor gonna try and get the angles, but a nade to chase to blow off the door. PR gone. Rez, though, able to get in towards the swing. Keeps it down to the 2v2. They need to get this bomb planted. 25 seconds, and over the flames. K-Serrato's vision's clear. It's to Acor, the stand-in. The man trying to reclaim his identity here as this GamerLegion Alper. Trying to make some noise. Wings out on the first, and now it's up against Fallen. Two veterans of the game. One with decades of experience, but now on the rifle up against his old favorite. Will drop that Alper, find that defuse, get the upgrade, and keep the lead for his Panthers.
Wow, what a great job by Fallen to bait out the shot. Results in a miss on Acor, and then Acor has nothing to do but grab his head in his hands. And frustration because he could not clutch out the 1v2. Great effort from Acor. I thought the first shot was fantastic, and then fading off in through those doors even better, but missing that is what cost him. And GamerLegion still falling short of getting back into this one and tying up that scoreline.
That was a nice try indeed, to be honest.
Try. Yeah, it was.
Acor gave a real good go of that, but savvy movement out from Fallen is too much. 2 more rounds in this. Full buy for both sides in this. Means there are no excuses. Full chance to show us what you got.
2 rounds remain in this half. GamerLegion, as mentioned, 4 rounds already. T-side is pretty good. They want more. They're going to try 4 here. Leaning towards yard once more. Wall of smokes is up. Yakindar's beyond them. CTR, Towson, everyone taking an approach here. Yakindar could spot a player. In fact, falling through the smoke, connects down and gets CTR to 27. Yakindar finds Rez, who is over on top of Mini. And the damage has been dealt towards GamerLegion. Got a couple walking wounded.
They've gained the space. They have gained the space. It came at a heavy cost. But they are down secret. And you can see this adjustment from yuurih. He wants to implant himself in towards this lower site. PR's got some purchase here behind the vent. As these smokes fade. Now PR's going to try and work some space. Could actually signal them back up if he can find anything here. Keserado's not going to know he's out. Oh boy. Oh boy, this should be the kill. Snap around's too late for Keserado. Don't know if they know that there's a player pushed up in towards the hub, but Molodoy takes this space, clears out a lobby, and now he's certainly revealed himself. Not making any secret about this. CTR with utility sailing past him. Stuck in the corner. Cannot deal. Not with an 8 at his feet. Acor, though, takes out the offer in kind, and Acor on the AK. Might just have found his gun. Might just have found his moment. Fallen. Head plucked from his shoulders. It falls to yuurih here. In the clutch. Finds the gap between the two players, but a footstep given up. Triggers in Towson on the peak. And the gap shrinks to just 1.
Wow, what a great play from Acor, right? He did a similar thing against Vitality yesterday when he had that rifle in his hands, more towards the back of Silo, this time in front of it, and deals the damage with the rifle after it looked quite dire. It was a 2v4, and Acor gets one into Hut, swings around Mini, and Dallas supporting so well to ensure that the chaos ensues on the defense in that post plant. You see the excitement on the GamerLegion side, celebrating that moment as they should, because they got 5 rounds T-side, could be 6. Economy's
oh my goodness, Molodoy.
Russian Mike.
He's going mad. He's going mad. And they're going through the smoke. FURIA, that's how you do it. You're getting caught in the late round situations. We'll pick up the pace. Go for the brawl right off the rip. Molodoy flying through with that AWP. And now Keserado, he's ducking. He's tucking. He's bailing on out. He's just got a deagle, but now he's got reinforcements. He's brought his friends. And they missed the moments for the isolated fights. But as Acor finds Keserado, there are so many more tests to overcome. Yakindar, the next one knocked down. These sight lines, they've been isolated. There's no flank coming. Everyone gonna bunch and play together. Noise made in the vent. That heard. Fallen as a canary in this coal mine. To light the way for yuurih's A1S. Molotov sections them off. Which just splits this difference. And with this bomb not planted, I mean, they were hoping to get a kill before it went down. Want to fight the single. What? It's Fallen instead who goes out ahead. And here comes the push. Molodoy on 1. PR's tagged up. PR's made noise. They know he's stuck here, but he's got the bomb and he's able to slip back away and up that vent. He's got himself a clutch. It's up against yuurih. Now, he's been doing this for a very long time, but this young gun, PR, he's made magic moments happen. He's gonna go for the wrap. Attacking in towards Mini. Does he have the guts to go for this off the site for the moment? yuurih doesn't have the kit. This will give PR the time that he needs. Wrap on around, and yuurih even thinks to check it, but because he routes this way instead of up the...
It's brilliant.
yuurih has no idea whatsoever. Patience on the spray lands. Nervy on the shot, but he brings it through at the end, and we are all tied on Nuke. Frustration, but a whole lot of explosive play as well for both these sides. Nuke has turned into a real slugfest between these two teams, and we are set for a barn-burning classic here as both GamerLegion and FURIA fight for survival.
Ooh, 6-6 all tied up, and GamerLegion moving on to the favored CT side. We'll see if they can have a better go of it than FURIA did, especially in that latter part. Towson gets the opener on Caserado. And Rez the follow-up. It's looking pretty strong for GamerLegion, though. Fallen does crack through into the bomb site and make life a little difficult for this GamerLegion squad. He will be quickly and swiftly eliminated by PR as he peeks out from above.
And the question was always, could anyone else actually join him? And the answer was a resounding no in this moment. Molodoy wanted to threaten towards ramp, but he's wary that someone could be perched in the J-halls. So right now, I think FURIA just putting a little bit of time into this, hoping that the defense spreads back out, maybe affords them a better chance at a bomb plant. And that's exactly what's happened. You could tell GamerLegion are anticipating the reroutes. You got players looking outside, you got someone watching the J-hall, you got someone already down. And so instead, if they just come back towards A, well, right now, they have the choice of plant spots. This has worked. You just got to go now. There's a massive window. Call it a door at this point. Just waltz right in. They can't believe it. They can't believe their luck. Huh? Nobody? Really?
Okay.
On one? I mean, if you insist. The problem is they have waited so long that now there's this wrap in towards lobby. Molodoy, first shot, though. Made good. Does he expect Towson? Come back around, head on a swivel, turns just in time. But now yuurih's got a pretty good idea of where they're coming from. Bombs planted open, but Rez on the swing will allow no doubt to slip into their minds. It's GamerLegion who strike first.
Yeah, but at the same time, they give up the space on that A site for FURIA to get a bomb plant, so that means a force buy will come through. A couple of frags as well to help bolster the economies of Fallen and Molodoy. So we'll see if they what they buy up. Presume a force buy would come through. But yeah, good on GamerLegion. They've got the lead, I think, for the first time here. On Nuke. And yeah, I mean, Fallen gained so much space. You talked about it, Mike. If someone's able to join him or come through and collapse towards the site as well, then maybe that bomb plant can come through a little bit sooner and in a more favorable position. But as it stands, GamerLegion able to capitalize and get that defusal. And there is indeed that force by Molodoy. Actually gets an AK in his hands, a Galil, and 3 pistols. And Molodoy immediately deploys that AK towards ramp. Molotov thrown as well in admin, so that's going to make life difficult for Towson to try and get back in here. And in fact, FURIA's going to try and overload him. Ooh, I don't know about this. A-Core.
There's a path. There's a path on in. We'll talk about the graffiti in a moment here. As these two players are lower, and if they just flood up the ladder, eventually they're going to go in towards A and realize, well, okay, we can plan. This is a save. They're not going to do it. Now, the interesting thing that we were mentioning is, if you look over at Yiki, the cameraman nicely showed it there, they've got a graffiti on the wall that kind of looks distinctly like a person. So that if you open that squeaky door, you might think it's a headshot. Might pop a shot. Might give a little extra information away. It's a cheeky idea.
ZTR and Rez trying to save here, and Rez does manage to get an important frag on Fallen and tapping through the smoke. Caserado. Is an A going to do some damage to it? Does. More than that, his life is lost. Alright, so at least some economy damage done here by GamerLegion, and they keep a couple of rifles in their favor, so not the worst in a losing situation, but this all starts with Molodoy. Honestly, what a ripper of an entry in towards ramp. It gives them all the space in the early round to try and move into ramp and leave GamerLegion guessing as to the direction they want to go, and they just snowball afterwards right into hell and create absolute pandemonium in the ranks of GamerLegion.
Celebrity referee in the background there that timeout. This is NVS. Ed, well known as a specter who haunts player setups at Fragadelphia's. Now, standing behind the setup at an IEM.
Well deserved.
One of the talismans of NA tournament adminning. Many a player has been chewed out by Ed for being late back to their game. Ed yelled at me at one of my first lands for using the bathroom when players were waiting for their games.
How could you, Mike?
Well, I also had a game to cast, so... At the time, I was but a meek newbie. Now I might have yelled back. Always good to see the varied faces of NACS at IEM Dallas. It's a celebration of the Counter-Strike community that has gone through so many years and so many events in Dallas, Texas. Rez, hoping that he go through a few more days. He'll need a few more rounds here in Dallas, Texas, if they're going to survive. PR with his veteran comrade laid low, trying to peek back in himself, and they line up. And look at the damage that he's done. How can they escape? Molodoy collected, Quesarado painted into a corner, and PR has just completely annihilated what FURIA were hoping to bring through.
Yeah, PR often expected to be that star rifler for the squad. This time, he's absolutely done that. A 4K now as he collects over the top of the smoke. Ace is on the cards, but it's not going to happen, right? Oh, Kendar actually overloads Towson, so there's still that opportunity.
Could be.
I mean,
Last
but they've got
player's
the
low
bomb.
now.
He's not going to go near them.
No, he is going to save.
Yeah.
PR, discretion is the better part of valor here. Your gun matters, so he's not going to hunt. So the chance that the ace is not to be, but the 4K looks dang impressive enough.
Yeah, just a nice stop that GamerLegion needed to find. All 4 players line up for him, and he does so much damage in the opening moments of the engagement on top of 2 frags that there's so little that FURIA can do. Except try to phase forward and win the duel, but PR just not allowing it at all. What a great job trading off of the loss of his comrade's life. And there you have it, an 8th round for GL, and it's going pretty back and forth here so far in this second half.
I'm pushing hard now. He was at that.
FURIA call for the force by Mike. Will feature an AK and a good chunk of util, but this is perhaps a risk, although it has been very back and forth. Do understand it. Hoping to wrestle control away from GamerLegion.
The game purchase here lower. It's Rez who's waiting for them, but Rez is out of the util. PR's come to join him. This is a tandem so often. They like to play together. So PR's going to set up a little bit of nadage for the fight here for Rez. Rez just races the first. Nade to chase. Was following with a Tech 9, so it's not the biggest problem to lose. And as his teammates are making noise on the A site, a timely incendiary bottle caps them in here. Out of the choke point they try and go, but up the vents is Rez. And there is no escape, no quarter. yuurih with a P250 and a dream, and that dream will quickly be snuffed.
Alright. Well, forced by war's end as decisively as they started. GamerLegion will gain that 2-round edge, yeah. Lots to celebrate here, and an eco coming through from FURIA means that GamerLegion could be the first team on for double digits. We've seen some craziness in eco rounds so far today, so don't count FURIA out just yet, even in this series, of course. Oh, what a nade. It's a chonker.
It's a big ouchie.
Yeah.
Well, do we gonna need to brush that one off? Still got the deagle. Well, now he's no longer got the deagle. Now they don't have much. Sustained fight outside. Love to be able to pass that deagle around, but unfortunately it's a little bit exposed at this point, and nades a chasing Tora is being flirted with. Doesn't shutting it in his opponent's face. Well, okay, hold on. He's got a gun. They gave him an AK. It's not going to really make a difference. GamerLegion double digits. Money's starting to stack here, John. It's starting to look damn good for Legion.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is something that FURIA struggled to get going on their side when they were on CT, is the economy and stabilizing it. They didn't find these types of clean rounds. GamerLegion were always kind of threatening, but here you go. GamerLegion stabilizing themselves. They have the foundation they're looking for, a 3-round lead, and 3 more rounds will give them a chance at playoffs. CTR and Towson already taking the space here in towards the A site. Lobby control gained from FURIA, but not really challenged on the GamerLegion side. So they're giving that up. CTR going down that ladder into the vents, waiting for FURIA to make their move. Our GamerLegion. Okay.
What a shot for Rez on the edge of the smoke. Playing a little dangerous, but silencing the guy who's been the heaviest hitter here for this FURIA side, who's propelled him into a lot of rounds. Fallen's game purchase, but once again, we have this issue where it's, can any of his teammates actually come along with him? A Molotov will make that easier. But a PR will make it that much more challenging. yuurih out of play, lobby under threat. That sends Molotov back to try and reclaim the space on the edge of the smoke. Caserado had a moment, but that moment's missed. And now the round feels like it hinges in the balance of this next kill. Over the lip go these CTs, but Caserado able to defend. Molotov combines. ZTR on the swing, Fallen in the clutch. Acor on the other side cannot find his angle. Fallen, the wily old fox. He knows his spots. He knows his shots. He may be rifling now, but his crosshair is just as lethal.
Fallen's timeless. Always good for it in the clutch, even when the map's not really going his way. He gets the 2 important ones that his team needs in order to secure an 8th and keep GamerLegion off of 11. It was favoring GamerLegion. They had that man advantage going into that fight, but Fallen and the rest of his squad doing the work to keep them at bay. Money is still good for GamerLegion. We talked about it, right? Those couple of clean rounds that they got built up that nice foundation, which means that another full buy will come through. So they have another crack at this to break what is a much more frail economy on FURIA's side.
Just when you think class might be letting out a session, the professor says, I got another lecture to deliver. I got a little bit more to contribute here. Not done just yet. Impact in spades. They could use another spoonful. Outside a lot less contested for GamerLegion this time. They're going to give them the space. No more smoke pops. That means Yukindar might be able to find his space on through. Plays close to the fade timing. But he is over and in. And that's drawing Rez down lower. Jumps around against the op. It does tag. But now forced back in towards spawn. They know they have Acor sectioned off. They caught the heal shot, but that's not a kill. And Caserado instead makes a little bit of space here. Though that space is quickly traded back. Now they push into lobby. This is a nice response for GamerLegion. Knowing that you're in a pretty tough spot, that you're likely going to have to play retake, especially with how pinned Acor is. You allow them to keep heaven clear, and instead you take lobby. So this way, if the T's want to funnel in, they pretty much have to do it through mini. You've got a player lower who can threaten vents, who can come up secret. You've got control in towards the lobby. You've got Acor to threaten from heaven. Gonna have to cross your sight lines. And that's a hell of a kill from ZTR. Now bails out his Opera, can get him implied back in the action, get him involved. Molotov down in towards heaven. Fallen and Yukindar need to find a little bit of magic once again. The clutch required. Towson through the smoke. This one gives up. But it might just distract them from this vent player. Rez slips through. No one's looking. He's gained his ground. Eyes distracted, looking the wrong way, and Rez finds the perfect moment to strike.
Wow. Okay, what a round. Honestly, FURIA started off and lose that first body again, but GamerLegion, after the bomb site is taken, Towson initially, Goomba stomping down mid-air headshot from the A1S, and then Towson's able to rotate around and still have impact as they're trying to take control of that bomb site. Right there, you're seeing it there onto Yuurih, and Rez, as you were mentioning, Mike, did manage to slip through the vent and catch the frag. Just really a nice job on the defensive end, not only before FURIA get there, but afterwards, once they take that site. It's a big round to win too, and as mentioned, the economy was so frail for FURIA, they can't buy up here. They have a hero Galil up, but the rest of the players on pistols.
We know they can make some noise on these, but it's just so limited. That lack of util as well, John. I mean, how do you even approach it? Seems like they're going to try and punish outside. Shadow spotted. Rez knows they're here. Pre-fire is good, but the trade is better. A-Core on the op. Still holding this down, and that's the bomb drop forward into his crosshair. Now they can swarm the CTs, and there is just no space afforded. No chance for FURIA.
Look, A-Core's been fairly solid throughout the entirety of this map. Sure, he's not at the top of the scoreboard, but the amount of impact frags are immense, right? He's got those, I think, 2 rounds in a row with the rifle, with the AK, where they clutched the 2v5, largely in part thanks to A-Core. And right there, even though we're on an anti-eco, he's still locking down the bodies, hitting the important shots. And now we have a chance for GamerLegion, 4 of them in fact, to close out the map and the series against FURIA.
And this is tournament life. This is FURIA's life on the line. They need 4 in a row to survive here at IEM Dallas. They need 4 in a row to have a chance at that stage, to have a chance at that crowd. GamerLegion coming in with A-Core, a man who hadn't played an official before this event in 2025. Well, basically had his last year of Counter-Strike forgotten. Now keeps on fighting. Is that impact player? Is that difference maker? This time, he can't land the shot, but PR's there to back him up. And A-Core around the smoke, zeroes in, and GamerLegion make it a 0 for FURIA. They move on. GamerLegion survive. The Panthers of FURIA, they may have gone with some Kazakh reinforcements. They've gone far afield to find a new breed of player, but it will not yield success here at IEM Dallas. It will not